right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to the third episode of the Split Screen Podcast. Here with my co-host Swedishfish, and yeah, man, I'm excited for the third episode. We've only had like one episode that hasn't been dedicated to specifically anything. Our second episode, we were it was basically a tailgate talk. For those of you guys who didn't watch it, like last time we were talking all about the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So it's kind of nice having no boundaries again. We had a couple guests on too, so if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out.
Be sure to.
Yeah, but other than that, man, how was your Super Bowl weekend?
Dude, Super Bowl wasn't bad. My wife kind of came in clutch and she cooked way more than I was expecting. We had some, God, what do they call it? Potato skins. We had no chicken wings. There was no chicken wings to be had. I guess the grocery store was completely out. So
Understandable.
But unfortunately there was no chicken wings to be had. And we just grubbed on a lot of other food. We had like some mini hot dog and croissant buns.
Ooh.
We had some of those. We had some homemade pizza, which I whipped up. I made some homemade pizza sauce, which was pretty clutch. Trying to think. We just had like a bunch of like food just kind of being tossed around. Had a few desserts. It was a lot more than I was expecting, so it was
Nice.
solid. It was probably
Sweet.
the best part of the night. You can get my hot take on that whole Super Bowl game and commercials and everything. I just was not, I don't know. I felt so unsatisfied by the end of it. I was like, ugh.
The
Like, that
commercials
was the
especially?
experience.
Or are
I
you just
think
talking like the whole product?
I think the game wasn't bad. I really wanted the 49ers to win.
Me too.
And I just was like, I think the game was more defensive than I had maybe wished for. It was pretty defensive in some parts of it. But yeah, I thought the commercials were really lackluster. And I thought the halftime show, it was actually, excuse me, fun fact, the halftime show this year was the longest halftime show in all of like Super Bowl history.
Wow.
And yeah, right? And they had what, 6 or 7 people come on and sing, dance with Usher. And to be honest, I thought all of the performances were like meh. I thought it was
Yeah.
weird how they let him sing live and then not sing live sometimes. And I think the reason why it was the longest concert in Super Bowl history is because they literally used one stage the whole time. Like there was no changes. There wasn't anything crazy like the Weeknd did,
Yeah,
So
man. My initial take, right when we watched it, the second they got over, I was like, man, that was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
because I was like, so I like I don't know. I'm an Usher fan. I don't like listen to him, but I think he's cool.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I watched him, and I was like more impressed. I guess because I set the bar low in my head about how it
that's
was going to
fair.
be. I was like, oh man, I got Usher. Like that's in Alicia Keys. It's like, all right, two people way past not way past, but like past their prime.
They are.
So I'm like, oof, okay. And then we got Lil Jon. That dude just might as well just, like, I mean, Lil Jon performing live is just yelling in the mic. He's hype. He's dope.
Is the hype man. He is the OG hype man.
Yeah, no, it's
you think
dope.
of a hype man, it's Lil Jon.
So like, I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, like the craziest thing I can imagine happening is like Usher dancing, like going into it. So I'm like, all right, cool. He sounded good. I can appreciate when people sing and dance at the same time, but
it cannot be easy.
No, and then the rollerblading I thought was the coolest part. When he came out and was like actually rollerblading around the stage, I thought that was pretty cool. But again, like that's it. Like that was the coolest part, was that he rollerbladed. And then I don't know, Ludacris came out. Ludacris was rapping. He was cool. I don't know, man. It's just because I guess what I'm trying to get to is that I thought it was wicked cool after it.
Mm-hmm.
And then as it went on, like as time passed, went into the third quarter, I was like, I went on the social media and I started looking at like all the other performances. I was like, man, dude, that was like not, that was nothing compared to the Weeknd. That was nothing compared to even last year with Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Eminem. Like,
I know,
dude.
And at first I was like, man, does it have something to do with age? Not saying all those people that performed at the Super Bowl are old, But you think like, dude, Usher was big when I was in high school. So he's been doing this for a long time and he's been successful in doing it for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like I do like Usher. I just think that this performance for me, it just fell short. Like um again, I'm not like this person that's gung ho on watching the halftime concerts.
Yeah, no,
I
like no kind of
I
show,
personally don't even
like
care.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I think yeah, I'm interested to see who they bring in next year. And part of me was bummed that the concert that happened before the game had Post Malone.
Dude,
And
he
I
was
was like,
good.
why? Exactly. I heard he was great. And part of me is like, why don't you bring someone like him into the mix? Why? Because, like, I'm sure Bud Light would be gung ho to want to sponsor that event and do a bunch of stuff.
I
I mean,
wonder.
Bud Light did a big, they had a booth, I think, right? For one of the commercials.
Yeah,
So it
makes me
was kind
wonder,
of,
man. Like
yeah.
it like not to cut you off. It makes me wonder, like
No, you're good.
almost like what it says to be playing the Super Bowl show now, like the halftime show. Like, what does it say about you? I feel like a lot of people who are in their prime don't want to play it yet because it's kind of known as like the thing you play once you're done. It's a free show. Like big names play it, and you never see like a Drake, or you never see like
No.
Justin Bieber in his prime.
Nope.
You see 50 Cent, but like when he's done. You don't see Get Rich or Die Trying 50 Cent. And
No.
you
That
don't
would have been a
you,
crazy one.
oh my, right? I mean, dude, he wouldn't be allowed. I don't think.
No.
But
No,
again,
no,
like
no.
that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't have done it.
He wouldn't have done it.
He wouldn't
And
have
so you
done
think,
it. So it's like
yeah,
now you got to wonder because they don't pay anybody. They don't pay Super Bowl performances. It's completely free.
it's exposure. You're paid
It's
in exposure.
100%. And so now, I don't know. You got to wonder: is it ever going to get to a point where they're going to need to pay so that they can keep up the acts? Because I don't think it's this might be a little drastic of me saying. I know it was just one bad performance, but what if next year you don't get a big enough or biggest name, or you get a big name and it's again not that good. Like the biggest guy they had that was in their prime was The Weeknd, and when The Weeknd decided to play it, everyone was like, "Whoa, what?" Like the dude that's on the radio is playing it right now in his
Yeah,
prime.
seriously.
That was big. I don't know. I love the halftime shows. I think it's awesome. I think it's fun. And I think it's cool that they don't pay him. And I hope they don't get to a point where they have to pay the guys. But it makes you wonder a little bit, like, where's it gonna end up?
Yeah, and I always forget that it's really you're paid in exposure, but I'm sure there's a ton of statistics out there with, where his Spotify and Apple Music and basically all of his music and how it's, being sold and looking. And
Yeah.
part of it too is I'm sure when they put these Super Bowl concerts together, they're having to try and hit it's like a buckshot audience. They're trying to hit each and every person that sits at that household
Yeah.
and watches the game, whether
That's why they
it's
get big names like that too.
Yep, they have to get big names like that. They want to introduce them to those people, even if they may know them. Maybe they don't fully know who that person is. Um, I think it would be interesting to see what they do next year. I think they will have to probably start going the route of getting people that are big at the moment. Um, and I can only imagine who. I think they're probably going to go like a country route with, maybe they'll bring in a rapper. I think they're going to start to cross collab or cross weave different types of music,
Smart.
knowing that if they can't hit a lot of different audiences, they have to be inclusive of a lot of different people that listen to different music and all different kinds of music. So
For
I
sure.
think if I were to make a bet, it's probably going to be some sort of like cross collab. I think the coolest one that was this a Super Bowl concert? And maybe no, it wasn't. I can't remember. It was when Kendrick Lamar and Imagine Dragons did a
I know
collab in
Kendrick came
some.
out at the Super Bowl last year, but he was with G Unit or whatever they're called. I guess it wasn't all a G
Yeah,
Unit, but
yeah.
no, I know what you're talking about. I don't think that was a Super Bowl,
No, it wasn't.
but I remember seeing that, and that's
And that was
cool.
hype because it was two different, you know, people
Yeah,
from two different areas. Obviously, you're much more musically inclined and on, you keep your finger closer to the pulse on what's going on in music.
yeah.
Um, but again, it's a cool thing to see them put together a concert and a really, really quick amount of time. So
Yeah, I agree. Someone I'd love to see played is like Lil Wayne. I think he'd be an amazing candidate. You bring out
no,
Nicki Minaj for a song. You bring out Tyga for a song. You could bring out
right?
Drake for a song. Drake doesn't say he played it. He just come out for a song. They can come out and play right above it. My God, dude.
Seriously, I think that would be huge. And they had a huge opportunity. Well, maybe not Kanye. I don't know if
Maybe
they're
not
gonna get.
Kanye. I don't think I think that ship has sailed.
I think that ship sailed a little while back. I think Lil Wayne would be a super smart play because he falls in that category of a guy that was super popular,
Yeah,
back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Still probably has quite a following now. But yeah, I mean, they had such an opportunity with it being in Vegas.
Dude, and I feel like Usher fit that too.
Yep.
Like Vegas. Yep. Like you saw what he came out in. That dude was so Vegas.
He was Vegas. Everyone was wearing Vegas stuff.
What an awesome spot for the Super Bowl to be. That stadium is amazing. They have clubs in the end zone. Like nightclubs.
Wow.
Like in there's like a hot tub. And like there's VIP
like Arizona
sections.
Diamondbacks
kind of, but there's like VIP sections. So picture you're in a club.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how like at Fenway you could actually there's a bar that's like behind, it's like field level, it's behind the fence. And you can see out onto the field in center field at Fenway right now. There's like a bar out there. Now picture a bar or a nightclub on the like ground level behind the end zone. And now you walk out a door and there's suites all across the back of it. So you're like sitting in like these couches and you have like bottle service watching the game, and you like someone scores a touchdown right in front of you.
It wouldn't even feel like a game, right?
No. You're going out for the night and there's just football happening.
Seriously. Like what are you there for? What's your experience, right? Is it to be at the game or is it to go to the club? That's crazy. I had no idea about this.
So much money.
Oh my God. I cannot even imagine how much that would have cost.
Wonder if you need a ticket to the game. I wonder if you'd need a Raiders ticket or if it like the price is just jacked up to include it. I don't know. Interesting.
One fun fact though. Seriously, they seem cool. I also wonder if that's just something that, regardless of how rich you are, those booths are kind of like already reserved for certain people. Like once they knew that it was going to be coming to Vegas, maybe it was like a club, like an owner of the team or someone like that was just like, yeah, the box is going to be mine for that game.
Probably.
The one cool thing that my wife mentioned to me after, I didn't know this, is that this was the first ever green Super Bowl powered by 100% renewable carbon-free energy.
Whoa.
Crazy, right?
What?
You think about all the lights in that place. You think about all the things that were powering everything, right?
It's insanity.
It's insanity. But, to my point of, it's possible. It's totally possible. And if it's possible in Vegas, it should be possible, hopefully, in a lot of other places.
I wonder how much it cost them to do that.
Oh, I'm sure it probably cost them out the ass. But
because they did it to say they did it.
I mean, they did it to say that they did it, but then that makes me wonder, did they do it the entire season or no? Because we're talking about Vegas here. Like Vegas, you walk down the strip, it's lights. Everything is lit up. So. Cool fact, though.
That is a cool fact. I also didn't realize that that was actual grass that they played on. I thought that was turf. I didn't realize that Vegas also did it. I know Arizona did it, but they'd roll out the grass.
Yep. I thought I read some crazy fact too on Twitter before the game, and this is no shot at Brock Purdy, but they paid more for the one night of that grass being used at the Super Bowl than what Brock Purdy makes in a year salary-wise.
I don't doubt that.
Which is like, it sucks to read something like that, but then I think to myself, why don't you shave a little bit off the top from each team? And since the players complain so much about the turf fields, just every single week, maybe that's the initiative. Maybe that's the NFL's initiative. Is obviously they can't really prevent the concussions and stuff because that's the sport, but at least put down some fresh green grass for these guys to run on and play on. again, at the end of the day, this is how they make their money, the NFL. It's with those players. So keep them healthy, keep them safe.
Yeah, they're your product.
Literally, you're running
you just
around.
charge a beer 2 cents more each beer at every stadium.
Seriously,
Like, I wonder like how much you'd have. I wonder how insignificant of a difference you could make, like that price wise, to see how much at the end, like how much it could actually scale at the end of a season to see how much money you could make. You ever think about something like that? You're like, man, I wonder if like that just cost 1 cent more, how much more that company would make a year.
I would want to know that stat across all stadiums to know which stadium drinks the most. Right? You got to think it's got to be.
I feel like it's like Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, maybe a Buffalo. Maybe it's like maybe it is Vegas or
Chicago.
Maybe
Vegas seems expensive, dude.
Vegas does seem expensive. They strike me as like the almost New York Yankees where they serve sushi and other shit.
Yeah, you're getting a Tito's Sprite at the Vegas game. You're not getting a Budweiser.
Right? Maybe it's like a Chiefs. Maybe Chiefs would hold
Okay,
that.
maybe the Packers.
Ooh, Packers. Okay.
I like Minnesota vibe though. I like maybe the Vikings. That's got to be a thing. There's got to be.
What about Detroit?
Oof.
I mean,
or Chicago.
Those guys. I'm sure. Oh, Chicago, sure.
I like Detroit. Sure. I like Detroit though because now they're good too.
Oh, they're definitely gonna drink more.
Oh, my God.
I think you want to make up that money. Don't even charge more for booze. What you should do is you should charge the people that get into those ridiculous fights. Charge them more for being drunk and dumb.
Mm.
And then maybe
put it towards the grass for the fields.
Yep.
That would incentivize fights though.
Well, maybe you don't tell the people. Maybe you don't tell the people that.
Yeah, you don't tell the people. Don't tell people. Like, oh, I'll pay for the grass. You start fighting somebody. Oh,
God, I hope not.
But so we talked about the game. So how about the commercials? You said you weren't a big fan of.
I was not a fan of them. I thought the commercials were lackluster. I think the only one that stuck with me even a little bit was, maybe the Oreo Twist-It one because it was like earlier on. I thought the Dunkin' Donuts one with Ben Affleck.
It's because it was star-studded, man.
It was star-studded. It was completely star-studded. And maybe I'm missing a big one, but the way I see it is a commercial should stick with me for a little bit. You pay that much for a spot? Like, come on.
There was one commercial and I can't remember what it was. And when it played, I was like, man, that's a good commercial because did you just see how all of us got quiet in here? Like you're thinking that was what I thought. I was like, all right, that was an insane way of making everyone get quiet for a second because you have a Super Bowl party, you got people over.
Yeah, they're gonna chit chat during the commercials.
The TV's turned up probably, but now like there's people walking by, people getting food,
going to the bathroom.
Now you're having conversations, and all of a sudden, we all looked at the TV, and I was like, "Did you just see that?" And in my head, I'm like, "What a marketing thing! What a marketing degree of me to say that." But I was like, "How crazy was that? That we all just looked at the TV." Like we've missed so many commercials, but we're watching this one now, and it wasn't a crazy commercial. But it was like the way the audio came in, and then there was like a big like, I can't remember what the commercial was. It's gonna kill me. But it almost looked like someone getting hit by a car, or like something crazy at the beginning of it, or like someone going off a cliff. I don't remember what it was. It was like an irrelevant commercial. Like,
really?
I didn't even know the brand. It might have been an AI commercial. I gotta find it, but it was nothing crazy. It just all of a sudden got everybody to look. And I was like, huh.
I think to your point though, if a commercial can get you to stop, think about it, and more importantly, if you watch a commercial, right, and then you go on Twitter after, and if it's buzzing from that, it's like that's a good sign that they've probably hit the nail on the head in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, there's obviously a lot of discussion around like bad commercials and people flooding Twitter with nonsense. But to your point, again, being a marketing major as well, it's cool when you see a company really nail it.
Mm.
What's that chocolate company that makes the little rounded chocolates that come in like the twisted
Oh
tinsel.
my God. This right here. Sorry, Mike.
You're exposing yourself now. What's the name of them? Yep. It's those. Yeah, Lindt
Lindor.
chocolate.
So
Yeah,
funny.
Lindor chocolate. Dude, they had an ad, and my wife and I, it's like the paradigm between a really good, or like just the juxtaposition of a really good commercial and a really just like what? Like why? Commercial.
Yeah.
And it was Lindor, and they had an ad, and I was like, what a missed opportunity. All of their commercials, they're like perfume, or yeah, they're like perfume commercials or cologne commercials where you see them, they come on, you know exactly what they are before the commercial even starts. But like a Lindor commercial, you know what it is because it always has some goofy dude twirling chocolate. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what a missed opportunity. They're going to spend that money, but not do something just completely out of left field to make people like, oh yeah, Lindor.
Yeah, it's just like they just kind of did what they always do.
They did what they always do. They played it safe. And it's like, I understand you're spending that much money, play it safe, but I also understand that I'm going to pony up some cash, do something that like makes people be like, oh, Lindor.
But why play it safe?
That's what
then
I'm
you
asking.
just
Why?
blend in. You just blend in. You're like, oh, there's the Lindor commercial.
You blend in, and it doesn't strike me as a commercial that I would see. Like I could see it on TV, a month from then and be like, yeah, that's not a Super Bowl commercial. That's just a commercial.
Yep.
So
I agree with that. 100%. I liked the Duncan one. I thought it was cool. And I like how they have other versions on different like you could see like a couple shorter versions of like different things happened in it. Like there was one of like Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Brady. Like they did a little skit of like throwing a football. And they were like throwing a football through I don't know, like whatever. They were just saying that like Matt Damon threw a football better than Ben Affleck. But I like how there's like different little cuts that weren't on TV. So they took advantage and filmed a bunch because they knew people would take to Twitter, and then there's more content there for them to watch. More content.
Yeah, did they use any of that to sprinkle in before the Super Bowl, or was it all just stuff that was like released after?
I'm not sure.
Because it would have been smart if they did both. But to your point, that was like the one commercial I think about going into an office after Super Bowl, and people are always buzzing about what did people do, for those Super Bowl commercials. And being in marketing, that's always like one of the first discussions is, did they hit the nail on the head? Did they do it right?
Yep.
Was it you got to imagine you're spending tons and tons of money, and for
100%.
some of those places, I'm sure that is a very, very large chunk of change or a large portion of their marketing budget.
For sure.
Just shelled out for one commercial.
Good segue here. This commercial now, the Mountain Dew commercial, I thought was awesome.
Scump?
A lot of people probably didn't see that, but Scump, for those of you guys who don't know, the greatest Call of Duty player to ever play, the greatest Call of Duty player to ever play Call of Duty.
True.
Straightest shot, just the best Call of Duty player. Seth Abner is his real name, but Scump, Optic Scump, and he was in the Mountain Dew commercial. So Optic is currently sponsored by Mountain Dew, and Seth is retired, so he's full-time streaming now. He's not playing competitive anymore, but he's
killing it.
Yeah, absolutely killing it. So So he's in a commercial, right? And so I was watching the Optic podcast, and they were talking about. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm having people over my house, and we're gonna watch my Super Bowl commercial, and that's so cool." But I have it down below.
That.
Yeah, he's like, "Man, I'm in a Super Bowl commercial." It's like, oh my god! But you got to watch for him. He's quick. He's gonna be in the top right of the screen. All right, watch.
It's me, America's sweetheart, and I just love having a blast. A Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Kids party? Having a blast. Stuck in an elevator? Having a blast.
I like this ad. I thought it was decent.
Losing. Having a...
Yeah, here he is.
Blast.
I can have a blast anytime, anywhere.
It was good, though.
It was good.
Right?
Yeah,
and then
right
they
here,
had
right
Nick
here.
Offerman at the end.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I cut it short. You guys see him in here, chat? Make it bigger for you. Right up in the top right. That's Scump. And
She sounds familiar. Shotties equal OP. Let's go. W, bruh.
Yeah.
I was here.
And they're like, yo, did you guys use the real chat? He goes, absolutely not. He's like, can you imagine if I told my chat, like, yo,
Dude.
you're in a Super Bowl commercial? How much would come out of that?
The amount of inappropriate emotes and
Oh, Instabans.
assies and all that stuff that would be
Instabans.
just tossed into chat would be unbelievable. But she also has like I don't want to say a look to her, but you know, she has a presence right now where everyone likes her. But she also has I don't know, kind of a demeanor where you're like kind of edgy, cool. I think they picked out like they casted the right person for that commercial.
100%. It like plays to her character. And what is she from? She's from Always Sunny.
Parks and Rec.
Parks
and Rec. Yep.
That's with Chris Pratt, right?
Yes.
And that's like the character she plays. But now
When you
see her in, like when she does interviews, like she plays that character. And I think that's also
Aubrey
because
Plaza.
Yeah. And I think that's because it's probably kind of maybe who she is as a person. I don't know. But
maybe
usually it's, if someone plays a really good character, it has a lot to do with sometimes it's easy for them to play themselves. But again, you look at someone like Rain, I don't know his last name, but he plays like Dwight Schrute. Like, dude, he's nothing like Dwight Schrute. So which just means he's an amazing actor, but
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Crazy.
You'd have to dig deep to find someone like him. I'm sure we'd end up somewhere in the middle of the country and be like, oh, look, there's a Dwight Schrute.
But how crazy is that for gaming? Like, there in that commercial, they literally had just a setup of a stream. So like it's universally understood now like what that means. It means he's streaming with the chat going on. Like that's not, people wouldn't be like, oh, what is that? Like I know some people might, but it's in a Super Bowl commercial, which means it's recognizable enough for that. Pretty crazy.
It is crazy. It's crazy
Huge
that it's so
for gaming.
It's so crazy now that it's mainstream.
Mm.
Now you made me think of like streaming being, you know, full on mainstream. Was there not an ad with Tim the Tatman, Booga, and was it Ninja maybe? It was okay. Booga was in the Sabra's hummus.
This year?
No, this was years ago. This was 4 years ago.
I remember Tim the Tatman being in one.
Tim the Tatman, he was in remember he drove the tractor?
Yes.
Take it, and he goes, "Take it to the house, kid."
Yeah. And Nate Shot was in that too.
Was he really?
Nate Shot was in that. He was hitting a golf ball, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe he was also streaming like this. I know Nate Shot was he's in a commercial, and I'm pretty sure he's in that one.
You're right. No, I think it was Rockstar. I think he was in a Rockstar commercial. Remember they had a thing with Rockstar?
Yes.
Yes,
and he was wearing the new jersey, and that's when they did the jersey reveal.
Yes.
No one had seen the jersey before, and he revealed it in a Super Bowl ad. That is smart. So smart.
It's just cool to see gaming get to the point where it's not just like, like not knocking Ninja, but Ninja is a household name. You know,
yeah.
He almost had like that. I don't want to call it a World of Warcraft effect, or he was Fortnite for a while. You thought of Fortnite, and he was the face of Fortnite.
Correct.
But it's cool to see other guys be able to get a little bit of the limelight and have an impact on gaming in a positive way, and to see that companies find value in it. I think that's huge. I think they still do. But yeah, I totally forgot about that Tim the Tatman commercial. I honestly did not remember the Booga one. I had to look it up. But they mentioned him in the article, so I saw it.
Yeah. That was the year, or no, that's not the year he won the World Cup, but I think that was a COVID commercial, right? It was during COVID, something like that. 4 years ago, probably something like that, or right before.
I don't know if it was two commercials within the same Super Bowl year that Booga and Tim the Tatman were in. I know that Tim the Tatman's was 4 years ago. Booga's, it was like a Sabra hummus one. You'd have to look it up to see what year it was.
Yeah.
But he's also still in a lot of commercials still. Like I think he's doing Verizon stuff, or I see him every once in a while doing different things. And I'm glad to see a guy like that, continue to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Booga.
I was watching somebody stream. Sorry.
No,
They
you're
made a
good.
good point. They're like, thank God somebody marketable won the World Cup. Like, it wasn't just some kid who, like, I'm not doing ad reads, no streams with no camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't one of those, like, everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he was just saying, thank God Fortnite was probably pumped when Booga won it and realized he was willing to, like, he was able to go on to Jimmy Fallon and be able to, not trying to roast anybody here, but he handles himself well, and he's well spoken. For the most part, he just handled himself well in those situations, and a lot of the times, a lot of gamers, like, they stream with no cam for no reason. For a reason. They don't want. They're streaming because they're good at the game. They're not there because they want to entertain people. And you got somebody that enjoys entertaining people. So Fortnite kind of lucked out on that a little bit.
They definitely lucked out. I also have never seen one of his streams, so I don't know what he's like as an entertainer.
He's
but
not
to your
great,
point,
but
he's not great. But I'm sure it probably took time for him to be an entertainer. A lot of brands probably saw the opportunity of, well, now everyone knows this kid's name. They know who he is. They're gonna flock to him. So if we can stick our brand to him, like, you know, he's kind of a walking NASCAR ad where everyone's going to see him, and hopefully it's an audience that you want to get in front of. I'm sure obviously brands would do that.
for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they lucked out in a lot of ways. They probably also lucked out in a lot of ways because if, I don't know, a really big streamer had won it, you know, it's just a bigger price tag for brands. And Booga, they probably
Like
got
Tfue,
for,
if he won that.
right? Like Tfue is going to charge, I don't know, 5 times maybe what Booga would. I don't honestly know the numbers, but I'm just guessing
No,
that
but it makes sense, yeah.
Booga never had that, so they can lowball him, and he'll probably be like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not making a ton of money right now." So
1 mil sounds good, whereas like Turner's like, I used to be on FaZe, dude, and I'm like the biggest Fortnite. I'm the biggest thing in Fortnite right now. Like he would just, I don't know. I could totally see Tfue making the extra money there.
it was crazy to see when when he started on Kick or when he came back. I don't remember what it was, but he was handing money out at the beach.
Saw that.
I remember reading that tweet and being like, "That is so weird."
Such a Tfue thing to do.
It's cool though. It's funny, right?
It was funny, and it got everyone like. And he went live. Was he live on his account, or was it just some like random account? For some reason, I thought it was some random account, but it might have been Tfue's. But he had never been live on it before, and all of a sudden, people just found it because it was trending on Twitter. And they're like, "Oh my God, Tfue's live!" Crazy,
right?
Crazy.
Now, talking about Kick, I think before the episode, you had mentioned Kick. You had mentioned just grabbing your name on the website.
Yeah.
Run me through it. Why Kick?
I feel like it opens a bunch of doors because you don't have to worry about Twitch TOS. So if I was looking to do,
you know, take your feet out or take your top off. What are we talking here?
Well, hey, I mean, you can do live golf streams. I could do a bunch of IRL stuff that I would have to worry a lot less if I was doing IRL on Kick versus, oh, you can't show license plates, or oh, you can't show anything. Like, God forbid a Twitch clip went viral and I got banned because someone clipped something from my stream. And you know what I mean? Kick doesn't have that. Kick is everything goes.
They are the Wild West.
They're the Wild West, but it is nice for people who aren't trying to abuse it, aka me. I feel like it would just be great and a peace of mind for me to not have to constantly be Twitch lawyer in my head. If I'm IRL streaming, I can just do it. So I feel like I'd love to end up doing that.
You don't have to nuke every VOD when you're done.
100%, dude. Or like go back to it and the whole thing's muted. And you're like,
sorry, I spilt beer, so if you see me dancing around over here.
all good. But yeah, or your VOD comes out muted. It's like, oh, that's copyright. Like on Twitch.
Every stream I get some sort of notification.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you use copyright music. I'm like, really? Or was it just an emote that had the Kid Leroy playing? And like,
True.
it's literally nuts. If the emote plays long enough, it'll mute part of your stream.
I don't doubt that for a second. But it's interesting that you're looking at Kick in that way. I think with Twitch now kind of changing up the idea of only being able to, well, obviously we're not partners, but streaming on one platform and it being the way that it should be. Restream's been a thing for a while. Streaming to a few different platforms has been a thing for a while. It's a bigger thing now. Because obviously Twitch changed some of their guidelines and they're ruling on it. I would be interested to see, what your streams look like on Kick. Obviously, it's going to probably be similar quality, but in terms of audience, people who show up, don't show up, does your
I
audience
agree.
from Twitch come over just to watch some of your streams? Is it just something where you make a little bit of a new audience and see what happens with it?
And again, it's like, depending on what I'm doing, and again, it's not like I'm doing anything crazy. It's more of a peace of mind thing if I'm on Kick doing the IRL streams. But again, you can IRL stream on Twitch. You just gotta know that you gotta know the TOS. You gotta know the terms of service. You gotta stuff like that. And it helps me because I'm not Twitch isn't going through my VODs. They're going through Nick Merckx's VOD, or when he was on Twitch. They're going through bigger streamers' VODs to make sure they're not, I would be all right for a while, but again, you never know. When Nightbot comes around and goes, yeah, Mister, I'm 20 minutes late to everything. You go, by the way, guys, you see DFISH is live? No.
Yeah.
What?
Nightbot, you're 20 minutes late, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nick Merckx, he's been on Twitch, or at least he's done a few streams recently on Twitch.
Kick.
Well, no, I saw him on Twitch a few times.
Really?
Yeah. I thought recently I saw him stream on Twitch.
Oh, maybe
a few days ago, a couple days ago, and he was doing some Warzone, which was interesting because obviously there was a big divide there for a while of like not wanting to play those games and, for some reasons. But yeah.
Interesting. I know he got a stake. Is it stake? I think he got a stake deal. Now he flies out to Puerto Rico to stream gambling on Kick and then flies back. He goes every week. Weekly
That's
flies
nuts.
out to Puerto Rico and flies back.
No, I knew that he
I don't
had
know if
some
it's
sort
stake,
of.
but I'm pretty sure it's stake.
I don't know the contract details, but I know I've seen pictures of him in his new place in Puerto Rico, or at least in some tropical place. I don't know where it is until you told me, but yeah, it's similar to what Trainwrecks had to do with. I think it was Canada that he went to be able to gamble and do that stuff. He had to move out of the States to be able to do it. I think it's probably a cool opportunity for him and his family to be able to travel a little bit, do some exciting things, and then come back and he's still doing the same stuff, but in Florida. I could never do that. I'm not much of a gambler as it is. Not knocking anyone that gambles, but yeah.
Fair. Well, if Kick's
it seems
you,
like a lot to go through.
I think his deal is they supply him money to gamble.
I wouldn't even know what to do with it.
Just wild. I heard it's like
I wouldn't even know what to do with it.
$150,000 or something like that they give him to gamble a month or something like. I don't know. Again, don't quote me, but I heard when you have stake deals, they give you money to gamble, which is just bonkers.
It's wild. That is wild.
Bonkers. But yeah, kind of segueing when we were talking about Scump. I've been watching some vlogs again, man. Been getting into vlogs. I've been watching.
Which ones?
I've been watching Hex. Optic Hex. I've been watching his vlogs a lot lately. I used to watch Nade Shop vlogs every single day. He would upload every day, and I'd watch Nade Shop vlogs. That was great. Now Hex, it's cool. Like he vlogged himself going to Scump's house for the Super Bowl, and dude, his basement, man, you gotta see this. His basement is incredible.
I've always loved Hex too. Like he just has this way about himself where you feel like you want to be friends with him. I don't know how to describe it. He's just like a fun guy to be listen to on camera. I mean, the houses in Texas too, man. These guys have some crazy houses.
This is Scump's house. Check this thing.
Oh my gosh, look at the ceilings, man. I remember seeing his kitchen a little bit when he did his
Yeah.
his goodbyes.
Yep. And so get this, ready? So we'll skip a little bit. So this is
God,
his
what
Super
a
Bowl
banger of a
party,
kitchen.
right?
You see how nice of a stove that is too? That's like commercial grade. I think that's like a Viking or whatever it is.
Check this out.
Holy.
So they're watching the Super Bowl down here.
Shit.
This is what I want in my house someday, man. Not the obviously the home studio is cool, but I want when it turns around,
Yeah.
something. Well, you'll see something to this manner where like this.
Yep.
How cool is that?
Wow, it's like a little speakeasy almost. I mean, that is a beautiful bar. You could absolutely do something like that. I think what you would really need to do is, it's going to seem crazy, but you got to paint. I mean, look at how dark it is in there.
It's so cool, man.
That is so cool. Imagine the parties you'd have in a place like that.
Seriously, and you got. I mean, look at how many people are in there, and it doesn't even look small. Like, so that's a big room. That's how you can tell it's a big room. They were
Oh my
grown
God,
men
you made a
down
good
there.
point. That is a good point because a lot of people will have basements that are done over, and you're like, oh, it's a nice space, and then you get 4 or 5 people down there, and you're like, oh my God, can you give me some space?
Like, look at that,
dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And now there's grown men standing like over to the left. Like there's a Hitch right there. I figured out. I realized his name is Davis as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hitch's name is Davis.
Cheers
and I was
to
like,
that.
hey. It was funny. I commented on one of his posts that he said something about his name, and I was like, oh, good name.
He has
brother.
a great podcast too. If
I love
anybody
it.
listening has not listened to it yet,
The
definitely give it a
Flycast.
listen. The Flycast.
And Around the Bar.
Around the Bar is the one I was talking about.
Yeah, Around the Bar. Great podcast. I also like the Flycast too, but the Flycast is
It's a different vibe.
very because it's based off like Fly on the Wall, so they're just literally having a conversation with the camera on.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I've been watching vlogs like that lately. Been watching vlogs.
So is this the content you're gonna get into? I hope that this is the segue of you being like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna do some more IRL content.
I want to. I want to do
Really?
IRL content. I don't want to like be the guy live streaming talking to chat in the middle of the mall.
Thank God. Okay, good.
Can't
Good.
do that, but I
Or at a
definitely would love to
restaurant.
do. No. But I would definitely love to, do a golf stream.
Yep.
Get a couple guys mic'd up on a golf stream.
Do like a Daltouche kind of stream.
What's that?
Isn't Daltouche the guy that he's like a hell of a controller player?
Oh.
And he's a great golfer too.
Oh, okay. I think I might know who you're
Excuse
talking
me.
about. Yeah, man, I'd love to do something like that. I feel like that would be fun.
We recently bought some awesome lapel mics off Amazon too for my gig. So if you ever want a link to those,
Really?
they were actually decently priced.
Are they Rode or is lapel a brand?
No. Like lapel's the type of mic.
That's what I thought. And are they Rode mics?
Rode makes great ones. We couldn't afford the Rode ones. The Rode ones are probably gonna be better than what I send you, but I got mine off Amazon.
Yeah, I only know because that's the only ones I've seen. I just see the name Rode on it.
Yep.
But those mics are really cool, dude. My trainer at the gym has a wireless one. He got it for $9. I know that's not like great for streaming quality, but he makes like Instagram content with it. Sounds perfect. Can't hear any rustle. It's a microphone and it's close and it has a massive noise gate on it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Yeah, I would love to get into IRL streaming.
I think you should. I think
Yeah.
you have a cool life where you could do some, if you're doing a work trip to travel down for music stuff,
Mhm.
or you're going to the gym, or you're going out and like getting drinks and you're doing something, you have a much more active life than I do. I think you would have some cool content to do and it could fill some gaps for like stream stuff that you're doing.
For sure. I'd love to vlog too, and that's a commitment. It's a commitment, and you got to bring a camera around. But
It is.
and I would love the finished product if I had a vlog. I'm not sure I'd love carrying a camera around in public.
I know. And that's always what's deterred me from doing any IRL content is
Like, if
having
I
a
had
camera out.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
No. I was gonna say I think that's always been the one thing that's deterred me from doing IRL content is having a camera out and being in front of other people.
Yeah.
Like I like doing this in my own humble abode, you know?
Yeah. If I had a cameraman though, I would be fine with that.
Really? So that's the divide, is you holding
I'm
the
good.
camera?
Yeah. I don't want to
Cool.
walking around like this, but if I had a guy following me with a camera, I would love that. Love that. Love it. That would be awesome. If I just had a dude, we went golfing and one guy was like, I'm the cameraman. So I will talk to the camera all day. I'll talk to him in the pro shop. I'll do whatever. I just don't want to be the guy. What's going on, guys? I just sometimes not. I can do that in like regular settings, not in like Dick's Sporting Goods. Can't do it.
I think that's fair. I think that's you have a good divide there of not wanting to be too public, but public enough to where people still feel like they're vicariously living through you.
Yeah.
I think you could come up with a cool segment where you just do like different golf courses around New England. Maybe you start there. Maybe
fun.
you do, I don't know, you do some coaching stuff on baseball. I don't know. I think you got the opportunity to do some interesting stuff.
I would love to do some golf streams. Do a couple up here. We're going away for a bachelor party. We're going to I had to plan a trip. We're going to South Carolina. So we're going
oh my gosh!
So we're going down to Hilton Head and playing a bunch of golf down there. So I feel like if I ramp
That's
it up
huge.
throughout the summer, not that I want to do it on a bachelor party. I'm just saying if I at least recording some content while we're there, just like the iPhone is great, but just like taking some shots from that. The iPhone camera is just fine for what I'll be doing with that. I don't need to bring the Sony.
You'd get some good content with the Sony.
Yeah, I would get.
But it would be a little.
I'd get some sick V-roll or B-roll. Is it B-roll or V-roll? First of all,
I don't know. I've always called it B-roll.
I always think it's like video roll.
That would make sense.
But again, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, whatever it is, B-roll.
Whatever it is.
You could get some sick 4K
you're getting footage.
Or some nice resolution golf footage. Nate Shot does a really good job with his vlogs. He spends time and like really edits them out.
Yeah, and
like,
I always
look really good.
I always take such appreciation for people that can edit videos and really hone the craft of getting rid of anything you don't need, keeping people in a video, keeping people to watch the video, interested in watching the video. I think a lot of those optic guys that do those vlogs and are a part of those vlogs, it's like second nature to them. And I think that's what's so nice about it is like you don't ever really second guess watching one of their videos. You know it's going to be good.
100%.
And you know you're going to be like, man, that is cool. I wish I could do that.
And it makes their life seem so busy. Like I know if you watch Hex, he's busy. He's busy. But then you get a guy like I don't know, like Zinni or one of the new guys, or you get like Bose, and he's just like streaming. Or Seth now, honestly, on a day he's not that busy, he's not doing like press things. They just go to Starbucks and maybe go to get lunch, but like the highway footage and the footage of them backing out of their driveway and the footage, like all that stuff looks so good and is edited with the music. It's a skill, man. It's a skill.
It is a skill. And I think a big thing, like you mentioned, you always forget, they get like little pieces of footage that really bring you along and tie things through in that journey. Because they could very simply just hop in the car and be like, all right, we're going here, which works. But, you know, you have to be the one that puts the camera down on the ground that gets the cool footage of the wheels rolling and all that stuff. So.
Puts it in the like they walk out to go to the car. Seth's like, all right, 1 second, runs back in, puts the camera on the ground, walks himself out of the door, closes the door, opens it back up, goes in there, grabs the camera, turns it off, like all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's the okay, put that in here. All right, now I'm gonna go back outside and walk back into Chipotle, but like it's no shame for them. Like they don't care, because I think it's easier to not care when you're doing well at it. But and you can you can justify, oh dude, like I'm a vlogger. But again, that can't be the only thing that deters you from it. So it's just something you got to get over. True. It's like streaming. A lot of people don't like streaming without a camera, and I understand that. But some people are nervous to stream without a camera. I mean, with a camera, and it's like, man, I personally forget it's there.
I forget it's there,
Yeah.
And I think it's just after a while you kind of rip the Band-Aid off and it's second nature, and
Mhm.
you hardly think about it. I don't know, unless you're doing stuff with the content after. Sometimes you just do it and you hit end
Yeah.
stream and that's that.
Yeah.
So
And I guess on like a content side, I'm always thinking like, this is the editing part of me. I'm always thinking like, oh, this is gonna be a sick clip if I do this, or not. It doesn't affect my gameplay, but I can like feel when something is like I'm in the middle of a clip right now, and I like turn it on.
every once in a while I will feel that. You are much better at it when it comes to like.
I mean, I play games that are more clippable though.
It's true. That is so true.
Like you can be in the middle of a clip in Destiny, but it's not. It's like a harder game to clip because you're not. It's not PV. It is PvP, but it's not as, I don't know, clippable. Like Fortnite is like asking to be clipped.
That's exactly it. I think Fortnite is, the content is made for it to be rambunctious and crazy.
Yeah.
Not that can't be the case in Destiny. I think it's just far and few between compared to a game like Fortnite or any other game that is just high octane 24/7. Not that, I mean, that really is what Destiny is.
Yeah.
And, you know, thank God I still haven't picked it up since. But yeah, I do agree that whenever I did stream it more back in the day, it always was like, man, I'm not getting any clips. And it's like, it's just not, it's not there. You know?
Yeah, it's not there, and sometimes I'm like, all right, time to make one. Or I'll
time to do something crazy.
Yeah, or like when you're editing, like, all right, you don't have much, like, time to get creative. Time to
literally
make this seem like it was way more intense than it was with video editing and music that's like, when really it wasn't that crazy. But you were talking to me about a game, and it reminded me when you said Destiny, because when I watched some of the gameplay of it, I kind of related it to it. It's called Helldiver.
Yeah, Helldivers 2.
Enlighten me.
I mean, the game itself, it's a third-person shooter, and it's developed by a company that their actual first iteration of Helldivers wasn't a third-person shooter. I honestly never played Helldivers 1. I haven't actually picked up Helldivers 2, but I've heard just awesome things so far. It's refreshing to see a game come out that's actually focused solely on co-op content.
That is cool.
And not be focused on PvP. I guess a big reason why they're not going to do any PvP is there is friendly fire. And so they think that would bring a lot of toxicity. Obviously, if it's PvP, there really is no such thing as friendly fire. Well, I guess there could be if it was teams. But the gameplay, I guess the loop that these players get into, it's four guys on a team. They drop from a ship, drop onto a map, and they're basically given some sort of obstacle that they have to get through or between, and they have to complete something within a duration of time. They have these big missiles, guns. It's a really high octane, fast paced, cool game, and it's not so unoriginal that it's like, oh my god, it's never been done before. I think it's just never been done to that degree.
Yeah.
And one reason why I wanted to bring it up on this show is it's amazing. I don't know. I feel like we've seen a few games that for some reason have had the good graces of coming out at a time when there either A is like maybe not as much going on, maybe games have taken a lull period, but it's almost like the luck side of releasing a game at a certain point and it just hits well with the community, or it hits well with the gaming community and people just flock to it. They love it. So I was like, dude, we gotta at least talk a little bit about this. Again, I haven't played it yet. I've watched a lot of people. I watched a lot of people play it and stream it, and it looks like silly fun, you know.
Yeah, when I watched it, actually watched a kick streamer, and he was playing it. When I saw it, I immediately thought of Destiny, just because of the movement and just the third person. Just kind of when I was looking at it at first, they were in like a
interesting.
It reminded me of when I don't play much Destiny, but
I almost got Gears of War.
Ooh,
because it was a third person, a lot of gore, blowing up like monsters and insects and stuff like that.
I didn't see him like playing anything active. He was just kind of running around a lobby. I didn't watch a bunch of it. he was.
So he was on the
that's-
ship.
Yeah, so it reminded me of that part. Reminded me of Destiny, but I think it's kind of interesting where you say it has to be co-op. You can't play it single player.
So you can play by yourself, but you have to have 3 other people on your team to drop in with you to whatever planet.
Matchmaking.
Yeah, so there is matchmaking. But again, I think what makes people like it, and maybe it's just, again, it struck the right chord at the right time. Maybe people were hungry for a game like this and it just wasn't known. Um, Again, you have to work with people to complete a task for, you guys to get credit on things,
That's cool.
to level up. But again, it kind of brings in that like very, very seesaw effect of, well, there's friendly fire and you can blow up a teammate
That makes
because
content. That's funny.
it makes content, but say if you're doing it with people you don't know, like you have a recipe for disaster for people to just be like, screw this, I'm out. It's almost like when Rainbow Six Siege back in the day, there was no penalty of killing your teammate. So like there's a reason why Rainbow Six, obviously there's a huge competitive scene behind it, but people were toxic. They loved to kill their teammates if they did something dumb or they got mad at them. Now this game, it's like truly driven on you guys have to be teammates. Certain people have certain roles, they do certain things. Certain people will bring certain things to the battle, like maybe one's more infantry or like missile approach. Maybe there's like someone else that brings something else.
Kind of like an expedition.
It is to a degree, and I think again, it's just another game that's found really, really decent success. And I looked at that game and I was like, it looks good, but I see it dying out in a month or two.
Yeah.
And apparently, all of the updates that this game is supposed to receive, A, is free from everything I've read, and B, there's like little to no microtransactions. So I think
As a good thing, or as a
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Again, sometimes those games can run into issues where funding might be an issue, but hopefully they do so well at the start that it kind of justifies why they went this route. And they're actually the article I sent you, they're having issues with like hiring more developers to help with the development of the game, the future of the game, and even the first few days after it was released, they were having server issues because there were so many people trying to log in to play. A great issue to have, but it also puts a bad taste in some people's mouths.
Yeah. There's some people that they just won't even try it.
Right? They have
If
that.
they can't the first time, they just won't.
Yep. They will have that. Well, I tried. I feel like I got ripped off. I couldn't even play what I wanted to, blah blah blah. Everybody has their reasons, their rhymes, their reasons why. I whenever a company has issues like that, especially a company that wasn't expecting to have so many people flood that game and play it and have server issues, you kind of get caught off guard, So
I hear that for sure. There's a couple TikToks we were gonna or YouTube shorts.
Yes.
Couple that we were gonna
yes.
we were gonna react to. Let's see here.
Ooh, this is a good one. So I'll preface this a little bit.
Okay.
This Chris Williamson guy, I've been watching him for a little bit. He's been doing a lot of like Andrew Human podcasts, where they've done a few things back and forth. And the two hosts on the opposite side of the table, I'll be honest, I've seen them in like tons of shorts. You might know them. I don't necessarily know them. But Chris has a really interesting approach on why people are so comfortable nowadays. And it's about halfway through the clip, he says something that's like, oh shit. But he kind of paints a really real, I should say a very realistic picture of why we are the way that we are as a society.
Yeah.
And you'll see the look of him. You're like, yeah, this guy, like, he's the crazy guy that does all the cold plunges. He does all that stuff. Like, yes.
Is he the guy does the sales training?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think he's just grown to be like in the limelight.
Why do you think it is that people are so comfortable constantly being comfortable and they can't put themselves in a position of voluntary suffering?
Because you don't need to. How do people get fat? Like one day at a time, where they eat 200 calories or 1,000 calories more than they expended over and over and over again over a very, very long period of time. There's no reason to put yourself through suffering. We can go from an air-conditioned house to a heated seat car. We can Uber Eats ourselves a well-cooked meal while we watch Netflix on the TV that we Amazon primed to ourselves. So many of the rough edges of life have been eroded. People have built buildings inside of which there are heavy things that you pay to have access to so that you can go in and lift these heavy things up and then put them down in the same place. And it's called a gym. We've had to artificially create discomfort in our own lives because it's been completely eroded from our normal existence. There's a difference between what you want and what is good for you. And what people want is often immediate comfort, and what is good for you is some degree of resilience training. Things that are good for you typically have pain immediately and pleasure in the long run.
Couldn't have been said better.
Yep.
And
I mean,
Come on, people, you know.
I don't know if it could have been said better.
With that,
I'll mute myself. Yeah, I think it's the way he put it of, we have taken a concerted effort to remove difficulties or things that are difficult or hard in our lives just because A, we can, and B, like, I think we as a society, excuse me, poor time to burp. We as a society have basically just, we don't like when there's pushback. We don't like when things are difficult. I will be completely honest. Yeah, it's not great when things are difficult. It's not great when things are hard. It's not great when you get told no.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to his point, we have done an unbelievable amount of work to make things easier on us as a society. And it's now gotten us to a point of no return, really, where I don't think people are pushed maybe as much as they should be. I think sometimes I need to be pushed more. I've been doing like cold plunges. I've been working out at hard times. I've been intermittent fasting probably for the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Again, I know it's very new, but it's the idea of doing something that is difficult. It puts you in a place of, I don't want to do this. And you have to, more or less beat that person down inside you to be like, no, this is what's going to happen. We're going to do this, and you're going to be better for it.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that I steered away for a long time, was like letting my inner self win. It was like, well, no, hold on. You're giving in way too easy. You can't do that. You have to push back a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I feel like a lot of people these days are I don't know about these days. A lot of people are like seeking validation, and
Sure.
I feel like the ones, or some of people that are seeking validation are also the people that could really benefit from doing things like facing adversity and creating the adversity themselves sometimes, because like, I guess that saying of when you wake up in the morning and make your bed, you've already accomplished something today, right? Creating obstacles or addressing obstacles and doing them the right way and fixing them the right way can honestly, yes, it betters yourself. It makes you mentally more tough, sometimes physically more tough, stronger. But it also makes you feel accomplished. And it gives you that validation where you feel like, okay, you know what? I could have the worst day today, but I know I got in that cold plunge, and I know, and you can tell yourself in your head, you might be wrong. These guys, everyone here is causing me to not have a good day. I bet you they didn't do that this morning. Or I bet you a lot of these people didn't go to the gym when it's already 7:00 at night, but I had a bad day at work and whatever. If there's opportunities where you can win, go win it, because not everyone always has those opportunities. Like, if you just showing up, man, just show up. That
is half the battle. And I think half the time it's, you need to do something difficult so that when the next difficult thing comes and lands on your plate, you're like, well, I already did, XYZ earlier in the day. It sucked. But guess what? I know this isn't as bad. If I hadn't maybe done that earlier in the day, part of me might have been like, nah, I don't want to do it. I'll do it I'll do it
Yeah.
tomorrow. I'll do it next week. But again, you're kind of putting yourself in a place of wanting to be competitive with being better than who you were.
Mhm.
And there's always been a quote that I started saying when I started teaching CrossFit a while back. I haven't taught it in years. But when people would come across some difficult movements, or they wouldn't want to do it, or they wouldn't want to show up, like you said, my go-to saying was, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably the simplest way to put it, but you have to, I'm not saying you have to be a sicko and look forward to being uncomfortable. There is definitely like an advantage to that. But I think you have to at least have the mindset of, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I know it's going to suck, but by the end of it, it's a 5-minute task, it's an hour task. You're going to finish it and you're going to feel like a fucking stud. So
Yeah.
anybody watching, go do something difficult,
Seriously, man.
push yourself.
I had to hold it together for a second. You ever seen the clips of LeBron where
No.
everyone's just like, dude, he's totally lying. Like, they'll like, I promise this ties back. They'll like ask LeBron, like he'll be in like a roundtable discussion, and they're always saying like, oh, I knew Kobe was gonna score 81 that night. Everyone's like, dude, what? Or like he carried a book that like he clearly never read, and they asked him what he's like, oh, there's too much I like about this book.
Oh yeah.
So
I've seen
one
that.
thing he said was, one guy was saying, my coach always said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And LeBron's like, that's always been my favorite saying, man. And the comments were like, bullshit, dude. Because he jumped on that so fast. It was funny. So when you said it, I just reminded me of LeBron. It's funny.
Hey,
But it's true.
I had no idea he said it, but at the end of the day,
No, he didn't even
There's-
say it. He
there's
was
some
claiming
truthfulness
that
to it.
was his favorite.
oh, he was
His fa-
claiming.
He's like,
well,
oh, like someone else said, he's like, oh, that's my favorite quote. Like, no, it's not.
all right, Bron, I see you.
Funny, man. It's funny. But no, for real. Just go do something hard and then win. And then everything else, you can just be like, well, I
Kinda
already did
falls in
that
place.
really hard thing, 100%. Like going to the gym, pick up something heavy, and then other heavy things don't feel as heavy.
True.
To a point. I guess that might not have made full sense. But to a point. We got another one here.
So this one, that's a good one too. But this one, I found it super interesting. For some reason, my YouTube shorts are just filled with like Joe Rogan, with like Chris Williamson, Andrew Huberman, and then like a bunch of Twitch stuff. So like a bunch of streamers.
Yeah.
So you've basically gotten a full mix of everything that I see on my YouTube short
Yeah.
playlist. But this one I found super interesting. It's just like, you'll watch it and you'll be like, dude, no shot.
This year, I went into Songdung, which is the world's largest cave. That was only discovered in 1995. It's this massive opening, 6 miles of underground cave. You don't see daylight for 2 days.
6 miles.
6 miles.
You should look at the pictures of this place. You'll love it. I mean,
2
it's just
days.
it looks like something out of Avatar. I mean, this cave, you can fit New York City skyscrapers inside of it. It's so big. It has its own weather system.
What?
We got to go into it this year because we were looking for this habitat. There's Hang Song Doong. That's the entrance to it, and like look at the size of it. The scope
It's
of it
wild.
is
I need
massive.
something to compare it to. What am I looking at? I'm seeing the.
Yeah, those are little tents. People.
Oh, those are tents.
There's full lake systems in there. And
my God,
there's a person standing on top of that little pyre right there. Yeah, so that's the wedding
Oh
cake.
my God, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
I have a picture just like that I'm very proud of.
My God, that's so spectacular.
Dude, it has its own weather system. Like, it has its own life in there. That is absolutely insane.
The fact that you don't see daylight for 2 days,
2 days.
you can fit New York skyscrapers into a cave, and it was found in 1995. Like, that's not even underwater. That is like walking around us. It's insane. When I watched it the first time, I had to watch it again. I was like, wait, hold on. He said New York skyscraper, and then he's saying its own like weather system. How wild is that?
There's
the first time
lakes.
There's lakes.
Not ponds. Lakes.
So I thought that was really interesting. I was like, dude, I feel like half the time I watch that stuff, and you kind of get into the mode of you're watching things and you're flipping through it, and that made me actually stop, and I had to click save later, save for
Yeah.
later.
Dude. That is wild. There's so
Right.
much we don't know about.
And that's above the ocean. Imagine all the stuff that's, in the ocean. All
The
the stuff
majority
that's-
of the earth.
right.
We think the Grand Canyon is like, I bet you there are things double the size of the Grand Canyon on our earth somewhere.
In the ocean, maybe.
In
I
the
wouldn't know.
ocean. In the ocean, that's what I'm saying.
Luckily,
Crazy,
I'm not.
bro.
Luckily, I'm not smart enough to have to be a part of that. The ocean. Fun fact: I am petrified of the ocean.
Me too. One of my biggest fears.
The idea of swimming in the ocean at night.
Yep.
If I had $100 in my pocket and you said, either you give me that $100 or you go swim in the ocean at night, I'd say, here's your $100. Have a good night.
Yeah.
No
Like when the
fucking
water's black?
chance.
Dude, I hate when the clouds go over and the water gets black.
Okay.
That shit bugs
in the
me
middle
out.
in the middle of the day.
Okay, no, maybe like at night. Not at night, but like at afternoon time. Not like 11 in the morning.
Oh.
But
Definitely the guy that doesn't swim after he's eaten too.
dude, I'll tell you one thing. When I was little, I didn't like the Mario levels where you had to go underwater. Dude, underwater bugs me out, dude. Like I'm like 8 years old, 9 years old, but still playing these, I'm like 18. Like, dude, I can't get past this level, bro. No, but there's a feeling
yes,
about.
Mom, I need to sleep in your room again tonight.
Yes, Mom. I told you to stop
went,
playing Mario.
I went for a swim.
But there's something about being in the water where everything around you moves faster than you do.
You know what's funny is it's not even that gets me about the ocean. What gets me about the ocean is that I don't know what's underneath me. Like if I'm out and I can't see what's underneath me, I can't touch the bottom. And I know that this ocean will do whatever it wants with me anytime it wants to.
Oh my god, like the movie Perfect Storm, dude.
If the current changes, if something just so happens to shift and I'm out there, well, that's what it decided to do. And it does not care about you. It does not know your name. It doesn't know how much you make a year. It just, nature will be nature.
Dude, those
and
waves
I thought
get so big, dude.
I'm fine with sitting on the beach and dipping my feet in. Now going in the water, fuck that. Nope.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I can go in and like up to my like waist, chest. I don't care. I don't mind that. Dude, you get me like we're out on a boat and they're like, yo, jump off, swim around.
Nah.
I'll do it in a harbor, like a harbor, like in there's a bunch of boats docked around. I'll do that.
Sure.
But not about it, man. I'm not about my thing is those things move way faster than I do. So if I could like see underwater, no. Probably a good thing that you can't see down through the water like very easily. Imagine if it was like perfectly clear.
Well, I think about going on like tropical trips, like when I was in Aruba or any of those places, and I could see underneath me. I actually felt a little bit better. I mean, most of the time I was hammered, so like
fair.
I would never go too far anyways. But I actually did some. I went on a cruise with my wife. It was the first trip we ever went on, and we did some snorkeling. We went around the coral and stuff like that.
Oh, jeez.
And it was really cool. But man, the feeling of like holding your breath, going down, and knowing that you don't have a tank on your back, and that you're like trying to actively look at stuff, it's beautiful. But it doesn't mean that I was like totally comfortable underwater.
Yeah, man.
I'm in a different part of the world. Yeah.
I don't think I would ever scuba dive.
Oh no, I've watched too many horror videos on YouTube of scuba divers and scuba diving.
Yeah,
and
not even
like,
snuba. I won't even do snuba.
What is snuba? Snorkeling scuba?
Yeah, but you don't have a tank. You're attached to a tank that's floating above you.
Oh,
So you don't
okay.
go
I've
down
seen
with
that.
the
I've seen
tank.
that. I've
So
seen
you're
that.
attached to a boat that has the tank. At least you're still attached. Like scuba diving, you have your own tank. Like nothing is attached up. No, first of all, never. Second of all, I think I would actually have a heart attack if I turned around and there was like a creature like bigger than me in the water just in front of me. Dude, I'm all set. Like I'm not interested. I'm good. I'd rather see a mountain lion right in front of me than a shark.
I don't know what I'd rather see. I mean, that's a hell of a question.
I like my chances on land way better. The water, you are no.
Yeah, you're in his
You're
world.
chalked. It's over, dude.
Okay.
It's over. Granted.
I don't know which one I would pick. I think either way I'd be fucked. So
yeah. Yeah, man. I don't. But then again, you got to think like sharks are like way less likely to attack you.
Yeah, depending on the type of shark.
Yeah.
Where you are, the season.
I think every mountain lion is like trying to get a piece.
Every mountain lion sees you as a walking rotisserie chicken.
Yeah. Or like a bear, dude. It's over.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. No. Nah, man. I can't believe that cave, dude. So crazy. So crazy.
It's insane.
It's just nuts. And now we're just talking just the Earth. Imagine like all the things out there, like in the world. I mean, in the universe we don't know about. When I start thinking about that, bro, I'm like, I gotta stop thinking about this.
Yeah, then you start.
I'm never gonna have the answers.
Never had the answers. You'll never be able to understand the answers, even if someone said, "Here are your answers."
Yep. I'd be like,
what? I'll listen to like Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's all over my YouTube shorts, and he'll explain things sometimes, and he'll get to a point where he'll use like 4 or 5 different words I don't know, and I'll be like, "What is the mortal human supposed? Like, what is a mere mortal supposed to do?" Like, I can't understand half of what he's saying.
You're like, all right, I have hit mental capacity with how much I can understand of this.
Yeah.
Without
First 20
years of schooling for me to understand a little bit more about it.
Yep.
All set, dude. I got it. All set. I'll stay on the land where I belong. I'll drive around in a car, swim just fine. Speaking of swimming in the water, I'm going sailing. I'm sailing the British Virgin Islands next year.
Didn't we just talk about how you don't like the ocean?
I hate it. Hate it.
Dude, what?
Dude, so my really good friend, Mikey, I like him Girthy, by the way, on if you guys will see me playing Girthy. No, sorry to throw you under the bus or expose you there, Mikey. He's getting married. And so after their honeymoon, they're going to plan, like after part of their honeymoon, they're going to sail, but they don't want to sail alone. So so I'm going to be going with them. So.
Now, are they doing this? No, like, do you have like an actual captain that's going to be sailing?
So he owns a boat, like his own sailboat with Gabby. Yeah. He sails every weekend, very good at sailing. We can also always see land from where we are. 1.
Okay.
2, the longest sail is like 3 hours. Mikey is very experienced in sailing. He sails his own boat by himself, sailboat. It's like an older sailboat, like on like 8 or 9 hour sails. He's pretty good at it. And his dad's an amazing sailor, so that's where he's learned it his whole life. But pretty cool.
Hey man,
but we're not going to be using his boat. We're going to be using we're renting like a brand new boat.
Okay. Well, that also makes me wonder, is that going to change the sailing for him? Like, is he more used to the older one? Like, is the new one going to throw him off at all?
No, what I'm worried about is if I should get a captain hat, like without an anchor on it, just yo-ho, or if I should go as Captain Hook. Go peg leg with a...
Dude, you are worried about your priorities are so fucked. They're so backwards. You're worried about what type of captain are you going to be? And I'm thinking of, am I going to read about it in the paper first? Am I going to see it on Twitter about like, two couples lost at sea?
Maybe I'll stream it. This will be my first IRL.
Get you a Starlink.
Dude.
Bro, you ain't getting no service out there. If I were you, I wouldn't touch a single technological piece of equipment unless it was a GPS out there. I wouldn't want to touch my phone. I would literally, maybe if you're taking pictures, but you should, if you're going to be off the grid for a little bit, enjoy it.
Enjoy off the grid. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. I won't. Or I will.
We'll take some
I
pictures
will.
for sure.
Yeah, I'll take pics and stuff.
That's
Obviously,
that is a lifetime experience. It'd be
Yeah, I'm
crazy
excited
for you to
about it.
turn it down, but I
and
also
he's
think
already
it's like,
sailed it
oh, he's already sailed it. That's good.
with his family. He's sailed it 3 times with his family, or 2 times with his family. So,
Well, hey, if I end up reading about you on Twitter,
just know I was having fun.
exactly, you were
And
having
probably
fun,
drinking.
and I will very quickly find out if you were Captain Hook or you decided to wear a captain hat with an anchor on it.
Yeah, I should be like the guy from Perfect Storm. Matt
Mm.
Damon.
You
Mark
strike me
Wahlberg.
more as a Tom Hanks,
Appreciate. I
yeah,
think.
maybe Castaway.
Wow. Yeah. With my God.
What,
What's the
Tom
volleyball's
Hanks?
name?
Wilson.
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 That's me. I'm gonna bring a Wilson. It'll be good.
Dude, I always think about that movie, and you think about when he came back into society and they had that big party for him, and he's just looking at all the food and it just sitting on the table. And you remember how hard it was for him to even get like anything to eat? And I was like, oh man,
Like that
Like,
feeling of like, oh my God,
that
it's all
feeling.
right there.
it's so easily accessible.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Good movie. Classic movie.
Good movie. Should watch that again.
Yeah, maybe you should watch
Maybe
it right
he won't
before
get
you
lost again. Maybe he'll
watch it right before you go on that trip too.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that in Perfect Storm.
Good.
Love Perfect
Yeah,
Storm,
back to
by
back.
the way.
Throw a Twister in there too.
Yeah, I'll have Twister going. Make it good. It'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Episode 3, man. In the books.
In the books.
Let's go.
It's there, folks.
Man. I'm excited. I'm excited that this is going to keep going. I'm excited to see where this podcast goes, guys. If you guys have not yet thrown a sub down below, make sure you guys go do that on YouTube so that you guys know every time new content's going to be uploaded.
That's right.
We're going to try and pump these out, man. So far, we've had one once a week, and I'd like to keep it at that at least. So I want to keep these up going for you guys. Let us know in the comments if there's any topics you want us to, discuss. Join the Discord. We have an area in there where you could send out any questions you have, anything like that. But yeah, make sure you guys leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, and check out the YouTube Shorts too. They're kind of popping off right now.
Yeah, the YouTube Shorts are popping off. If that's like your thing, if you like shorter content, David does an amazing job with whipping those up and helping them. Just they're solid. They're really, really good. And yeah, obviously we always have the full episodes and everything. But definitely drop a sub. It's free, right? It's not hard to do. So we have we will definitely continue to record some episodes.
For sure.
I don't know who our next guest will be. I think that'll definitely be a topic of discussion, but I don't know. It's been great so far. Can't believe we're already 3 episodes in, but
I know
it's just been fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome. All right, guys. Well, play the music. Peace and love. I'll talk to you guys soon. Episode 3 in the books. Check. Peace out.